Good evening, and thanks for watching CTV Sports on Monday the 13th. I'm Travis Green, joined by Rachel Vigil and Grace Reeder. Thanks for joining me, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Now, you two, basketball season is over at CSU, so we're already looking forward to the football season. The team had its second team scrimmage on Saturday at Broncos headquarters, and you two went down there to Dove Valley.
We sure did. It was a really good time. Nick Stevens even said after the scrimmage that it was a pleasure to be able to play on the same field as Peyton Manning. Being girls, we snuck into the indoor facility and took some Instagram pictures.
Some good throwback Thursdays there.
Exactly.
Forever.
Well, now the whole talk about spring has been the quarterback competition between Nick Stevens and Coleman Key. What did you see from those two in this scrimmage?
Nick Stevens threw a lot of short passes, and Coleman Key definitely threw a lot of them. So it was definitely interesting to see the two different type of playing styles. Obviously, Nick Stevens showed that he's played before, and he played behind Garrett Grayson because he knew how to get out of the pocket and he knew how to move in the pocket. So I think that's a big thing. But Coleman Key used his height to his advantage and was able to look over the line and see where the big plays were going to be.
If I was looking at anything and learned anything, it was that this position is not solidified until the season starts. Coleman Key and Nick Stevens got the same amount of playing time. Nick Stevens was throwing those short passes, but he was with the first line team. But Key was throwing those long balls. He threw 298 yards, and so he was definitely throwing those bomb balls, showing his athletic ability. We also got to see Craig Leonard, so that was pretty cool. He got in there for 7 snaps. So this position, it has depth.
Yeah, for sure. And after the game, Coach Bobo said he liked how Stevens managed the game. He's already said that before. He thinks he's kind of taking another stride. He makes the smarter decisions there. Coleman Key, obviously younger. He has a strong arm, pitched in Oklahoma in high school. And Stevens took a majority of the first-team reps in this one. Do you think that says Bobo is leaning towards Stevens right now?
Yeah, he's definitely the smarter quarterback. You can obviously just tell. But, again, it's a throw up to who's going to be quarterback. Even Bobo said that it won't be decided until the fall.
I think he's making Nick Stevens sweat, but I think that Nick Stevens has got it. I'm thinking brains over brawn, so I've got it in for him.
All right, well, there you have it for quarterbacks, but there also is the rushing competition between the running backs. Dalen Dawkins, the transfer from Purdue, has been practicing with the first team quite a bit in practice. And then we've got Trace Gerald, did not play in this one, and Jason Oden Jr. Do you see somebody emerging here at the running back position?
Trace Gerald was obviously out with a high ankle sprain. That was disappointing. I kind of wanted to see what he had. He's got the experience. He was under the shadow of D. Hart last year, but that doesn't mean he's not a good player. He played in 10 games, scored 6 touchdowns. He's got the experience. I think he's going to come out on top. But I was also really excited to watch Dalen Dawkins produce. He's like a young D. Hart. He runs into blocks, not away from them. So I was really excited to see him do that. He averaged 6.6 yards per carry, and so he was definitely impressive.
Yeah, he's a stocky guy, you know. He's definitely the person that you throw in to get that first down. He wants to get in. That's what you want in a running back, obviously. But I definitely think that Trace Gerald is the speed to the running back position. He knows how to play. He played behind D. Hart, but he's fast. He's really, really fast. And
Coach Bobo gave a lot of praise to Dalen Dawkins after this one, saying he's one of the toughest player on this football team. That says a lot what he thinks about Dalen Dawkins. There's those big guys in the trenches, defensively and offensively. But there is the kicking situation. We've never talked about that. The kicker position. Jared Roberts leaves, possible NFL draft pick, will maybe make an NFL team. Did you see any kicker that kind of emerged here in this spring game?
I didn't see anybody, honestly, and that's something you really want because you can win a lot of games with a kicker, like Utah State. It came down to the kicking for the very last second. But there wasn't anybody. They started off at the 25-yard line, and then they moved back to the 40, but nobody made it past the 40. There wasn't a lot of potential there.
As we saw in that shot, we saw a lot of really short kicks. For instance, Wyatt Bryan, he only made 27 kicks, and he missed 51. So there's not a lot of promise there. We were getting a little bit nervous because, like Rachel said, during the Utah State game, that can make or break a game.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough to fill the shoes of Roberts. Well, that's all the time we have here. Thank you, Rachel and Grace, for joining me.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. Great job at Dove Valley.
Thank
you. Now time for softball. And this weekend, the Colorado State softball team was looking to bounce back after being swept by Utah State in a 3-game series on Tuesday and Wednesday. On Friday, the Rams headed out to Albuquerque to take on the Lobos in another Mountain West 3-game series. In the first game, the Rams ace, Holly Ranke, was on top of her game, throwing a complete game shutout, which led to a 2-0 CSU W. However, the rest of the series did not go the Rams' way. In the game 2 of the series, the Rams were out-hit 11-2 and wound up dropping this one to the Lobos 4-3. The final game of the series was a completely different story for Holly Ranke, who was rocked by the Lobos, giving up 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings pitched, and the Lobos' offensive outburst was too much for the Rams to mount a comeback. The Lobos took the win 7-4 and won the series 2-1. The Rams' losing weekend moved their record to 22-22 on the season and 3-9 in conference. Up next for the softball team will be a home series against San Diego State starting on Friday. Rugby team's success over recent years has led to them to the Nationals 2 years running. But what's their secret? Sports reporter Brett Kennedy has more.
At 6 p.m. 3 times a week, the Colorado State rugby team has practice, and as their season is winding down, they keep working to get their fundamentals perfect.
It's a lot about the basics. You have to really attack with a lot of depth so you're catching the ball at full speed. If you can just get an accurate pass, it means a ton. Like, it doesn't seem like much, but it changes the whole flow of the game.
Head coach Justin Mort and backs coach Ryan Walker emphasized to their players to not forget the easy parts of their game plan, even when the team is doing well.
And each game, we just send them little precise messages about doing the simple things right. The things that you kind of take for granted when you start winning a lot of games. All right, we're just emphasizing the basics and the simple skills.
As outside center Luke Engelhop sees it, the team's ability to play off one another has gotten better by putting the team first.
What we've improved on best this year is coming together as one unit, being able to play together as a team, knowing what each other are thinking, being able to play as a brotherhood on the field and off the field.
On a 10-game win streak heading into their Big Sevens tournament on April 11th, the team failed to make nationals for the first time in 3 years, but this season was still looked at as one where they got closer as a family.
There's nothing better than having a guy next to you that you're willing to fight for and willing to put your life on the line for.
This bonding of players has made Coach Walker's job a little easier.
It's not as if they show up to practice and leave and go home and all go their separate ways. So they're all hanging out, studying film, they're all doing those sorts of things because they're friends and they enjoy it and they enjoy each other's company. So that makes my job so much easier when they're getting together like that.
Brett Kennedy, CTV Sports.
The team will play its final match of the season this Saturday on the road against the Denver Harlequins. We're going to take a quick break, but my boy Patty will be back bringing you a sweet cricket story and all the latest with polo and baseball. Don't go away.
It's cold outside today, Rams. What better way to warm up than to gather in the LSC? The new and improved Senate chambers located in the renovated ASCSU office was modeled to match the state legislature in Denver. Reserve the Longs Peak meeting room in room 302. There are approximately 23 other new meeting rooms designed for your needs. Reserve one of these rooms through the event planning office.
The Colorado State Club baseball team had themselves quite the weekend, and the Rams played a 4-game series against CU at Nelson Farms in Johnstown, and probably wouldn't mind playing the rest of their season on a farm. In the first game of the series, CSU scored a whopping 24 runs and held the Buffs to 2. The rest of the series, Rams bats stayed hot and led to a 4-game CSU sweep. In the series, the Rams totaled 56 runs as the Buffs totaled 11. Why, yes, CSU outscored CU by 45 runs. The 4-win weekend moves the baseball team to 14-10 on the season. Up next will be a 4-game home series against Northern Colorado at City Park Field. You might have biked past a group of students playing cricket on campus. Over the weekend, I decided to take an inside look at the Fort Collins Cricket Club. Cricket, a sport foreign to many Americans, is starting to find a home in Colorado, as students from CSU have taken the small club to a statewide league.
Started off at CSU Cricket Club, and then in 2010, I think when CSU wanted to build that pathway, and then we decided we got to get more players in, so we decided to move out of CSU and then form a club called as Front Range Cricket Club.
This passion shared by many Indians is what initially started the team.
And since cricket is a big sport in India, most of us are interested to play cricket. So we just thought, why don't we just start up our own team?
For players like Pratham, Aaron is the reason they started playing cricket at CSU.
Arun is a student at CSU, and I was a student at CSU as well. And he's the one who encourages people to play cricket. And we just happened to play at the basketball court at CSU, and that's where we met.
The numbers for the Fort Collins Cricket Club have only grown since leaving campus in 2010.
At CSU, the numbers have been going up steadily. When I came here in 2011, just maybe 20-30 people, but then now it's almost 100 people who play cricket out of pure fun and passion.
With so much growth in the league, it is making it more difficult for the Devils to return to the CSU campus.
We would like to have one within CSU, which would be a good thing. But with about 200 people right now, it's becoming, I think it's necessary and it's a must.
Yeah. If you're looking to join the club, check out their Colorado State Cricket Facebook page. Colorado State University played host to its annual Skyline Stampede last weekend. 13 universities has attended this rodeo to compete in events like barrel racing, steer wrestling, and goat tying. Unfortunately, CSU did not do well and only qualified 2 people to compete in the final events on Sunday. There are 2 more rodeos left on the schedule, one this weekend at Casper College and one in the dreaded Laramie during the first weekend in May. In more successful CSU news, the club polo team won the national championship this weekend, and trust me, I'm just as shocked as you are because I guess we have a club polo team. Well, it's time for another break, but Travis and I will be reunited at last to talk about some baseball. Don't go away.
Welcome back, Patty. We're reunited, and it feels so good. Baseball season obviously is here. The Rockies 5-2. They've come out of the gates hot.
Yeah, Trav, I was around Coors Field on opening day. I didn't actually go in, but I got to take in the atmosphere, and man, was it buzzing. It was great to see, and baseball is back in Denver, and I can't wait to see what this team has in store. Their pitching is great, and news today, we found out LaTroy Hawkins will not be their closer anymore, or temporarily.
Yeah, how about Rafael Betancourt coming back after the injury, has the surgery, sits out all last year, comes in looking like the closer now. Pretty interesting to see him come in. And you said it, the pitching has been a big-time surprise. If that rotation can keep it up, the Rockies are a scary team. They've got the lineup. The hitters have been there for years. Kyle Kendrick, Jordan Lyles, Eddie Butler, John Gray comes up later in the year. This might be the recipe for a little wild card push.
Yeah, if that bullpen can stay strong, that's the only key to their season, basically, because they're like Jenga. It's that one piece, and then it just might all fall apart. So if they can get to that 6th inning, you know, they can go 1, 2, 3, and kind of did what the Royals did last year, have a strong bullpen, strong offense, so-so starting pitching. I think that can do it for them. But they are in the tough NL West.
Yeah, what do you think the chances are here? They're obviously the Dodgers are dominant. They're there. But then the Padres got so much better this offseason, getting Matt Kemp, big game, James, Will Myers, and then Upton, one of the Upton brothers. What do you think the opportunity is here for the Rockies to possibly even get over one of those 2 teams?
It will be tough because obviously they're going to play a majority of their games against those teams. But like I said before, it all comes down to that bullpen. And I don't know if I'm really sold on the Padres yet. They haven't started out too hot, so we'll see on them. And that's all the time we have for you tonight. If you missed any of our show, you can check it out at collegian.com under the Sports tab.
And be sure to tune in next week to see highlights and analysis of CSU football's spring game and a great tennis feature from Elizabeth Prosty.
And on a more serious note, Ricky Santo, a graduate assistant to the CSU football team, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. The sports bar CB & Potts on Elizabeth Street will be holding a fundraiser for his treatment on Thursday night from 6 until midnight. Head coach Mike Bobo and some of the football team will be there for support. Please show up if you can and spend some of your tax return on a few drinks and enjoy some good food for a good cause. Have a great week.